My plan was to install solid wide plank white oak flooring. So I went to a flooring place and talked to the guy, and he kind of talked me out of doing the solid wood just because with the expansion and contraction of something that wide, it gets gappy, and I didn't want that. So he had some 4-inch wide flooring that was engineered that had a bad factory finish, and he planed that finish off these pieces for me and then sold it to me for half price. So it was a win for him, and it was really a win for us. So we got this in April of 21 and stacked it in our TV room, and it's been sitting there for 2 years. Now we finally get to move it, put it somewhere else. Hello, Internet. Hey, it's finally time to work on a fun project now that sheetrock and paint is over. We get to put in our floors finally. We're going to run lengthwise here, and I framed this wall parallel to this wall, so hopefully our horseshoe should be nice and parallel by the time we get over there. But I was going to show you the best way to start a wood floor, and this is my expert opinion. So the first thing we need to do is go on this end, and I put in a screw. I actually just used a piece of the flooring, but just you can kind of pick. This is now 4 1/4. Got a screw there, and now I have a little block of plywood. Okay, that's on that end. Then we're going to come down at this end. And I've got the same screw, same distance, not the same screw. And now, I'm just going to take this string. I'll show you another trick if you need to temporarily tie string to a stake or a nail or a screw. Just put your finger in there, go about 4 or 5 times like that. Then put it on the screw. And now what you're going to do with this hand is pull that string as tight as you can while you're pulling back, see? So it just slides down. You can really wrench on that. And then when you're done, just quickly go back towards the screw and then just wrap it around once. That's all there is to it. So, understand that so far? Are you following along? Now we can go and check to see how level our floor is. Let's go down here first. Check and make sure this is still on the plywood. Yep. So now we can take the same piece of, not the same piece, but a similar piece of plywood. And then we can just go and slide it, see? So right here, can you see? Like it's kind of just touching. If we're over here, now it's, you know, it's sort of more like in the middle there. Over here. Yeah, so that's, I would say the middle here is about 1/4 high. That's what that means. But 1/4 high, you know, in 36 feet, that's pretty good. Not bad. So now we have a very straight line that we can put our first course of flooring. So that's the important part, is your first course, you want it to be as straight as possible. And it's parallel to where you want to land, I guess. So it, you know, doesn't have to be perfectly parallel on this wall. It probably won't be. But the next thing that I realized was we need 2 pieces here at the door. And here's the first piece. Okay. Here's the second piece. And as you can see, we're past our string. what I was hoping is I could just put full course along the wall, but because this is wider than 2 courses of flooring, I'm gonna have to end up cutting, you know, like about a 1/2 inch or so off all of these pieces of the wall, which I was trying to avoid. Alternatively, you could start the flooring where I wanted to, like this, and then put in a little filler piece there, but I don't want that. I don't like filler pieces. Plus, I think it'll be nice if it's a full course at the door and then full courses everywhere. So, that's the plan. Any questions? On this floor prep, let me show you what's going on. So, here you can see these 2 sheets flush. Then we get over here and not so flush. If we go all the way down here, looks pretty good out here. As you get here, it's bigger and bigger. And then by the time you get to about here, flushes out again. So I don't know if this is just a defect sheet. Part of the problem is, you know, we're doing this little section at a time instead of buying a whole unit of subfloor and know that it all came from the mill in the same batch. Get a few sheets, a few months later go get another few sheets. So sometimes the machinery is not perfectly dialed in, but so what I've done is I've just cut little taper pieces, and I'm just gonna glue these down on top of the joists. I'm only gonna do 3. So glue those down, and that way it'll flush out from the outside wall over to there. And that's really the only spot that's not super straight on the floor. So, oh, here's our shims I explained earlier. We've got those gluing right now. So all I gotta do is get that first piece ready at the door, and we're good to go. Start slamming the floor down, right? Not quite. There'll be more. Okay, we got the little tapers glued down here, and it's a little bit proud of where we need it to be. This one's too proud. This one's a little bit. So I'm just gonna take the planer and clean that up real fast. Okay, so we could just, now that we have our string there, we could just put our pieces of flooring up to the string. But here's a better way, and I just have these little scraps of plywood. So I'll show you what I'm going to do with these. If you come down here, I'm going to take these, and I'm just going to slide it. There's a screw out of my pocket here. I'm just going to slide it until it touches the string. You don't want to push the string. As soon as it touches it, no. Just gonna go off, every couple feet or so until it touches the string. idea? Get it?
Did you say why you're doing that?
That way we can just take our first course of flooring and just push it against those blocks. If you just had the string, when you'd go to push it against the string, or you have to sight down, you know, you don't have like a positive stop. Doing this a lot, positive stop. So yeah, just gonna do that down the whole line, and then we can start putting this flooring in. Okay. Okay, we got our first piece in. You can see how you use the blocks. So I've got to finish the end there. But yeah, the blocks make it nice because you get your piece in there nice and straight. A few hours later, going through the stack here.
Go.
Okay, so once you get to the floor here, we have this piece that we need to put in here. So what you want to do is just turn the piece around, put it up against the wall where you want it to stop, and then put a mark, cut that off. That way you still keep your joint here. Once you turn it around, you ding your wall. So, does that make sense? Hopefully. Okay, so I'm just going to cut this on that line. It's ready to go. Does that make sense? Now, if your offcut is big enough, I might do it on this one. Then you just take your offcut and then you start your next course with the offcut because you still have the groove there. That one's kind of small, but that way you really don't waste any flooring. Got it? Everybody up to speed now? Are you up to speed? You're the one that's putting it in. Okay, now I'll shoot Carmen putting it in.
Sorry, Peter.
What's really sorry about? She kind of died. How do you like using that thing? Okay, so here is the piece that goes along the hearth for the wood stove. So what I'm gonna do, since that tile's black, I have some of this black stuff. I'm gonna wipe black stuff on there first. That way, if the wood ever opens up for whatever reason, you won't see the brightness of the wood. So. This also may or may not be the color of our floors when we're done.
Are you telling our secrets, babe?
Teaser right there. See, I'm just rubbing it in as much as I can. Not wearing gloves. Okay, so now should be able to just take this a couple of things. So normally you have to, the way this joint is, you have to push the wood in there, but we need a tight joint here, so we can't do that. So all you do is cut the bottom. Are you filming? The bottom. the bottom of the tongue and groove off. So that way it can just fall down onto that nice and tight. And also when you have a cutout that's along the tongue and groove joint, like this cut, I don't know if you can tell, but back cut that at an angle like that. You can kind of see here, this also is cut at a back angle. That way when we put it in this groove, get it set there, get it in the groove, it already starts to slip down there. And really the only thing that's gonna show is just the very top of the wood. So that's cut flat. Otherwise, there'd be no way to get that piece in. You have to give it a little room to kink and slide in. That's how I do it. So yeah, this is probably the second most important joint in the house. Maybe fifth. So that should just, well, let's try it. Just tap right in. It's a little tight right here. Actually, what I want to do, I want to vacuum all that gunk out first. So I think you get the idea. You trust me, it's going to fit, right? You can just see all the gunk in there. Show the top of my head.
Well, let's just show the top of your head again.
All right. Close. Zoom in on it, see how perfect it is.
Oh my goodness. Look how perfect that is.
So, it's usually best to have a block of wood, especially on the end grain here. if I just keep hitting this, then there's a chance that end grain's gonna split out. So just take a block of wood, put it on the edge to back it up. Then you know you're good. And look, this was just happenstance, but we wanted the tile to be a little bit proud of the wood. And it's like exactly that. So instead of using the flooring nailer, I'm just going to use our 15 gauge. Yeah, 15 gauge. It's got 2-inch nails. Sometimes you have to face nail stuff, so this, I'm just going to face nail. Actually, I'm going to try to get that down a little bit more. Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah. Put the face nail there. This should be okay. We can get with the regular nailer. Tight, just needs a little persuasion. So there you have it. That's how you do a finished piece. Thanks for watching. Yeah. Oh, glasses.
You're so funny with the glasses.
I want to see my eyes, okay? Okay, so as you're making the floor, you get to the other side. One, you can't nail it with the flooring nailer because you can't get the gun against the wall and hit it. So once you get over this side, you still need a way to drive them over tight. So here's a super easy way to do it. Take a piece of flooring and cut like a 5-degree angle on it lengthwise. And then
Wait, we didn't see the angle.
Oh, sorry. See how it's tapered? It's like a big tapered shim. And then you take 2 other smaller shims. Follow me so far? Okay, now we're just going to take this piece of wood that we need to put in. Get closer. It's a big action shot, dude. Oops, put that backwards. Take your shim. Jeez, must look really easy. Now watch this. You can kind of hear it. Let's see if I can get it one more time. Okay, listen for the difference in the tone. Hang on a second. Okay. So listen to the difference. Everybody, listen. Then you just take your, whoops, careful, your regular nailer. This has 2-inch nails in it. And then what I do is I just...
Should we have hearing protection?
No, it's not that loud. I put as much weight down there as I can while I'm shooting this and just shoot it about 1 inch from the edge. It's not that loud, right?
No.
And so on and so on, just with the wedges. So, okay. Glasses. Let's get the whole thing. Okay. Yeah. got the floor in. Another little piece I got to do over by the stairs, but yeah, and all the way through the TV room. Had to move out of the TV room, but yeah, looks amazing. So step 2 is going to be fill. So let's get going. Here's what we're going to use. It's real thin, as you'll see. Stir it up a bit. Trowel, flat edge. Okay, floor is all sanded. Sanded first with 80 grit and then 120, which is what the finish wants. So next, I need to take our trusty vacuum everything, and then wipe everything down with acetone to prep for the next step. Okay, floors are all done. What's with the blue racing stripes?
Well, I mean, the expert said that we have to do stripes.
Why do we need stripes?
I don't know, expert.
Well, what are we doing?
If you want me to say something, you could just ask me to say it. We're staining the floors.
Why are you staining the floors?
I don't know why we stain floors. I would leave them blank and let them get ruined.
Blank? You'd leave them blank? Well. Oh, I forgot to take off my shoes. Okay, yeah. We're staining the floors black. So this will be the last time you get to see them in this beautiful state. And then here's our black dye. And yeah, you have to do basically 3-foot strips. So that's the next step.
So,
Okay, Karma's going to take this little pad applicator, like this.
What is that?
What?
For going with the...
Going with the grain. And then I'm going to come behind and buff it down with a red Scotch-Brite. So, let me just try this to see how my plan is going to work here.
Go.
Okay, so this is our flooring. As you can see, there's a thin layer of real wood, white oak, and then it's on this Baltic birch core. Does that make sense? So, because it's a thin piece of wood, it's not going to expand and contract as much as if this was a solid piece. So, that's what we ended up with. Okay, good. That's all. Okay, so what are we gonna finish the floor with? Standard, huh?
Are you asking me?
Well, yeah.
But I don't know anything.
So usually you put urethane, polyurethane on floors. Urethane just is plastic. It's, you got oil base and water base. Oil base is really hard, really durable, and really smelly. Water base is not smelly at all, but you don't quite get the hardness that you do with oil base. The problem is, there's 3 coats. You got a sealer coat and then 2 top coats. So you're gonna have to put 3 coats on that floor. So in the spirit of doing things different and things that I've never used, we're going to be using this Rubio Monocoat. It's a hard wax oil finish. It's made in Belgium, and it's just as the name implies, it's a 1 coat. You wipe it on, you wipe it off, done. You actually can't build up coats because it's not a film finish like urethane. It has an accelerator. It's like a 2-part thing. You mix one, you mix the other, then you got about 5 hours to put it down before it goes off. One of the nice things about it is if there's areas where the finish starts getting worn through, you just put another little coat on it. It'll only bond to raw wood, doesn't bond to itself, so you basically wipe it on, wipe it off, and you're good to go. Before we use that, we had this Pre-Color Easy in the intense black, as you probably saw in the video. This is a water-based stain. We had to tape off sections to do at a time. It's really hard to keep a wet coat, and it really is easy for it to turn splotchy when you're putting it on, so that's why we did little 3-foot sections at a time. I thought it was pretty easy to use. It is intense. So now we're gonna mix up a batch of the oil. We're gonna put it in a little squeeze bottle. You're supposed to only do about 50 to 100 square feet at a time. Basically squirt it out on the floor, buff it with the pad, wipe it off with the cloth, wipe it off with the cloth, wipe it off with the cloth. It's very specific. You can't take too much off, but you can leave too much on, and then it gets tacky, and then it turns into a big hassle. So I have a mixing cup, handy mixing cup here from Total Boat, not sponsored yet. This is a 3-to-1, so you look here. It's got a little 3-to-1 graph. So I'm just gonna probably pour up to this 2 line and then pour the accelerator up till it gets to 2 there and mix it up really good. So one of the interesting things about this oil is there's no VOCs, volatile organic compounds. Doesn't really off gas, it's not unhealthy, but it will combust spontaneously. So any rags, gloves,
Listen, that doesn't
sticks.
sound healthy.
I know, it's interesting, isn't it? It's a certified Green Guard, indoor air comfort. It's got all this accreditation, but you throw some rags in a pile and they'll burst into flames. That actually happened at work in the dumpster. So what you're supposed to do is throw your rags in a bucket of water or put them in a metal container that seals. So we'll mix this up. And then I'm gonna pour it up to the 2 mark, I think is a good place to start. 2. I hope that's not too much to put in that bottle. Guess I should be wearing gloves.
Are you gonna burst into flames?
Not yet. Let's see. This goes up to 2 here. About there. Okay. Supposed to shake it and then stir it. I don't have a lid for this Total Boat container. Again, not sponsored. I'm just gonna mix it up. I mean, it smells a little bit, but it doesn't, it's not like, like I say, the oil-based urethane, super stinky. We would be gassed out for a week, probably. I've done it before, and yeah, it's really smelly. I feel like I might need a funnel, but let's see what happens here. As you're applying it, also directions also say to shake up the bottle as you go. So, are you excited?
Are you looking at me?
Yeah, I am looking at you.
I'm excited for it to be done. Is that the correct answer?
What do you feel about the color so far? The black. Whoa.
Excuse me. It's intense, babe. No, it's good.
Good one.
It's good.
It's good? Good?
Yes.
It's good?
It'll be good in the end with all the beautiful cabinetry. Oh, nicely done.
Oh, it's going to be like the perfect amount. I don't know how far this is going to go. I think that each can is supposed to be like 200 feet, so let's see what happens to us. All right, cut. I have to start every video by going, okay, here we got our stuff. Supposed to shake it up. Supposed to put a little bit down like this. Get a white scrubby pad. Just put. Now we can kind of tell if it's how much of the color's coming off. Doesn't look like a ton.
What does that mean?
Well, you thought it was too dark. You couldn't see the grain. So this might make it a little less dark.
So is this all that you do? You sprinkle it on and then scrub it in?
I don't know what that's about. All right. I think you can see the grain quite a bit better. What do you think?
Oh yeah. Oh, you can see it really well on the camera.
Okay, so basically you got about 3 minutes. You want to let it sit on there for 3 minutes, and then you want to wipe all that you can off. So I'm going to have you go ahead and put some out in front of me, and then I'll come with the machine, and then we can start wiping it off, okay?
All right, but wait, you have 3 minutes to do these two steps. When do the regs come in?
After the 3 minutes.
Got it.
Okay, so here's what we ended up. We were trying to get a similar color to the tile. Not sure we accomplished that 100%, but we like it. It's intense. But one of the things that I like about it is, you can probably see here, it's kind of varied color range. Sometimes it's real black. Sometimes it lightens up here. And I think, you know, over time, it's a really nice looking piece right there. Over time, that will just kind of lighten up as as it gets used more. So that's the final result, and we're really glad to be done with that.
Just coming down the stairs. Hey, stop it.
What are you doing, little kids? Huh?
We're on an adventure. I don't know where we are.
Well, Mama's got what they want.
What do you guys want to do? Which one is on? That's good. The baby. This mama still pregnant, huh?
Looks like it.
So are you so hungry?
That little guy is getting his tail wagged so much when his mom goes by. He's so excited.